Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is part 4 of You Lose. I know you've been waiting on this one, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Your lips met, but then you ripped them off his, glaring at him intently. You'd better explain yourself properly, you said darkly. Ever ready for a fight, he arced up and grabbed you round the throat, his top lip curling into a snarl. Your fight reflexes kicked in, and you deployed your sand quirk, spraying him in the face and getting out of his grasp before he had a chance to blast your neck, should he choose to do so. Speak, you demanded. I told you, he growled. I take what I want. Why me? You asked pointedly. It could have been anyone else, but you chose me, and now I can't go back. We're from different sides. When hot and cold mix, they don't go one way or the other, they muddle in the middle. What's your point, dumbass? He asked, feeling cornered, and like he was going to have to admit something. What are your intentions? Why did you choose me? Tell me! Angrily you threw one arm up, palm facing towards him, threatening to spray him in the face with sand, but he didn't seem to be wanting to fight this time. He just stood there, open. Even though you're a damn hero, you still understood me, he said lowly. I don't want to be with anyone, stupid-ass villain. I want someone who can fight, hold their own, but also know how to please me when I come home. His voice dropped into a lower register on the end, and he took a step towards you. You scrunched your face menacingly, keeping your palm outstretched, but he could tell you weren't going to attack him. We can make our own world, he said. You don't have to do what some pissweak boss tells you to do. You do what you want. No one had ever asked what you wanted to do. Slowly your hand lowered, and he took it in his and stepped into your personal space, placing your hand around his back as he held the other side of your neck and drew in his other hand. Run away with me, he said in a low, appealing voice, bending his head down to kiss you again. You gave in to him this time and kissed him back as passionately as he was kissing you. Your bodies called to each other, drawing the other in until they united, skin to skin, hips to hips, nails dragging down backs as legs wrapped around bodies. And when morning broke, you were still intertwined, soft, warm flesh pressed to soft, warm flesh, keeping you both warm. Come on, Bakugou grunted as he stirred awake. We have to catch the boat. Now? You asked, only being able to half open your eyes as you watched his perfect bare form pull his minimal villain gear on. Yeah, in a few hours we'll be free. You nodded and yawned, feeling around the bed for your clothes that had been lost in the passion of last night. With clothes on now, you followed him to the front door of his hideout and waited behind him while he peeked out the window to see if the coast was clear. We're good, he said after observing the surroundings for a bit. But something was off. Wait, you whispered, grabbing his arm to stop him. He looked back at you. I don't think it's safe, you said in a soft voice. I've checked and it's clear, he grunted, unhappy that you were delaying the getaway. I still feel like Just come, yeah, he grunted, opening the door and flicking your hand off his arm so that he could pull you along behind him. He didn't bother to close the door to the small hut. It had been a burner place anyway. Off into the bush he led you, while you kept glancing back over your shoulder, feeling like you were being followed. Bakugou, Katsuki. If I've been inside you, it's Katsuki. Sudden flusteredness swelled up in your face. Cat? I feel like we're being tailed, you whispered. I can't see anyone, but I can sense something isn't right. He stopped, looking up at the bird life in the trees. Apart from them looking down at you and him curiously, they didn't show any other sign of others being around. Wait, he hissed, just as he was about to move. They're probably invisible. An invisibility quirk. There were people on my team who had it. What do you suggest? He asked as he picked up the pace and pulled you along quicker. Leave me behind. You escape, you said. I told you I'm not letting you go, he replied, gripping you harder. If they catch us, they'll take us both, you hissed at him. This is your chance to get away. If we go down together, he replied. He was dead serious about staying with you. Uneasily you conceded, still watching your back as he took you closer and closer to where the boat to freedom would be docked. Almost there, he said lowly as you climbed the last ridge, ready to descend into the bay that had a medium-sized boat anchored just offshore. You weighed up your options, then yanked your arms from his grip and threw both hands up, peppering him with a mass of sand. What the hell? He yelled, confused by your attack. You jumped up and smacked your feet off a nearby tree to use it as a springboard to tackle him momentarily, and as you barreled into him, knocking him flying, Another figure came flying out of nowhere and helped you pin him down. "Traitor!" Bakugou yelled at you, and your heart twisted in your chest. You weren't trying to take him down, you were trying to force him to leave without you, so he wouldn't be caught, but the invisible figure was closer to you both than you had thought, and you weren't expecting anyone to suddenly try and help you. Turning to the invisible person, you quickly worked out where they were in space and sprayed them with sand, helping Bakugou to flick them off. As soon as you had tackled the invisible person and Bakugou had stood up, you kicked him backwards, pointing quickly and silently to the boat, begging him to understand that he needed to leave, and he needed to leave now. The invisible person spoke then and called your name, assuming you had tackled them in the confusion, and wanting to identify themselves so that it helped you, so that you wouldn't take them out. You replied the person, pretending like you had accidentally attacked them in the confusion, and when you looked back, Bakugou had gone. It's what you'd wanted him to do, right? Run? Well, yeah, but him suddenly leaving you made you really sad, and you felt like you were going to cry right there and then. "Are you okay?" your invisible colleague asked. "We were concerned for your safety as the boss had overheard you getting taken by Bakugou, and he deemed you not an accomplice, and I can bear witness that you were being taken by force and that you tried to escape." You didn't know how to answer that. It sounded like you wouldn't be tried for this if it went to court. You could have your life back. But you didn't want it now. You just wanted to be with Bakugou. Your invisible colleague helped you up to your feet and explained that they had backup waiting closer by the road and that you'd be okay. He took your hand and started to lead you back the way you'd come. Panic started to rise, the anxiety of the situation making your body break out into a hot sweat. Suddenly there was a massive explosion behind you and you ducked in fear. Next thing you knew, you'd been grabbed by two strong arms and hoisted backwards into the air. "Not this time, mother truckers!" Bakugou's loud, proud voice cried as he doubled his explosive powers and blinded the vision of the invisible colleague of yours. "She's mine!" And with that, he quickly made his way back to the boat with you in arms and dropped you down on the deck as the driver threw the watercraft into top gear and raced out of the bay into the open waters. "What was that?" you panted, charred and shaking. "I came down, told the driver I was bringing you to, and told him to get his ass ready to go, then grabbed you, and now we'll never be apart," he said with a smug grin. You jumped up on wobbly feet and grabbed him in a hug, enjoying his embrace as you took off to start a brand new life together. And there ends part 4. Next week I will focus on Haikyuu for a bit, as the poor Haikyuu fans have been asking for more and have been put on the back burner sadly, so hopefully I'll see you there.